As we move into week 7, it's time to look back at the past 6 weeks and learn a few things. One of the things we can look at is who's played easy schedules, who's played tough schedules, and what does that mean going forward. We're going to do that here, and we are, of course, brought to you by mybookie.ag. It is the best place to take the information you get here and put it to good use. MyBookie.ag offers all the different bet types you could want, whether it's a single game or for the rest of the season going forward. They've got you covered. So use promo code PFF and head to MyBookie.ag, where you play, you win, you get paid. All right, let's start with the easy schedules first here, Eric. And let's give a little context here. Yeah. When we say easy schedules, what do we mean?
Yeah, we have our power ranking system. So basically what we're going to do is go back and say, what was the average power ranking of all the teams that a given team has faced? And so far this season, we've seen a couple teams that we liked in terms of win totals going into the year have faced easy schedules as predicted, and some teams have faced harder schedules.
Yeah, a couple that stick out here are the Jets and the Texans, each of which have played pretty easy schedules. To give you an idea of how easy, on average, they face a team like the Buffalo Bills every single week. And, well, what do they have to show for it? Not a ton.
Yeah, I know. We gave out the Jets over 6 wins this year based a lot on this schedule. And, they've been 3-3, could very easily be 4-2. They haven't even played, to mention Buffalo. They haven't even played Buffalo yet, and they get them twice down the stretch. So I think that that's still looking good. You look at a team like New Orleans, right, who's in the top 5 in our power rankings. They faced an easy schedule, looking backward, a tough schedule moving forward here. So will be interesting to see if they can maintain their good play through the next 9-10 weeks.
Another couple of teams here who have faced relatively easy schedules, the Eagles, which is surprising because they have struggled a little bit, right? The Eagles, and then also the Ravens, who this past week absolutely destroyed a Titans team that who knows how good that team is. But those are teams that, the Eagles, the Saints, and the Ravens are all at the top or near the top of our power rankings. And so a lot of that has to be looked at in context where they've not played an incredibly tough schedule yet.
Yeah, I think the Titans are a classic example of why this analysis is necessary. The Titans started out 3-1. Everybody's, giving people flack for not predicting them to win games. They were underdogs in all 3 of their first 3 games. And, when Philadelphia loses to them, that looks bad. When the Baltimore Ravens beat them by a lot, that looks better. But you shake it all out, and they're kind of an average team, and hence, all those teams that have played them, not really, impressive in terms of what they've done against the Titans.
Looking at the hardest schedules so far, some that we knew going in were going to be tough, right? Yep. We talked about how incredibly hard the NFC South was, and the Bucs and the Falcons have certainly felt the brunt of that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, just as a reference point, has played a schedule full of Baltimore Ravens so far on average. So the fact that they're 2-3 after 5 games is actually, with their quarterback sitting out the first 3.5, is actually somewhat impressive. They don't get a ton of relief moving forward, still having to play New Orleans and Atlanta again. And Carolina is a team I think that's pretty good in the league right now. So one of the other teams to look at, I think, that's had a tough schedule so far is the New York Giants, right? And the New York Giants are a team that we said had the toughest schedule in the NFL next to Tampa Bay going into the year. We had their under 7 wins. And it's borne out that way so far.
A team that people were very bullish on to begin the season were the Cleveland Browns. A lot of that had to do with the potential of Baker Mayfield. And now that Mayfield is in there, it will be interesting to see what they do going forward. Looking backwards, they have faced one of the tougher schedules so far. So while people say, okay, Baker's come in and his stats don't look great, I think there is a little more to be looked at there based on the fact that they have played, as you said, basically an average of Baltimore Ravens teams so far.
Yeah, and Cleveland's one of those teams. They were in a weak AFC, the only AFC team that had a top 10 most difficult schedule going into the year. Having come out of that 2-3-1, I do think that is a good sign moving forward. Hopefully Baker Mayfield's healthy moving forward, because they could be a team in that 6, 7, 8 win range. That would be, I think, a positive sign for that franchise's direction.
No Super Bowl yet, though.
No.
Not quite. But making steps in the right direction, that's what the Cleveland Browns fans are hoping for. Let's talk briefly about the Falcons here, who have just gotten sort of decimated defensively, and their win-loss record has gotten decimated so far as well. They have faced a tough schedule. Does it get any easier going forward?
Yeah, I think it gets marginally easier, but again, their problems are not going to go away, right? The fact that they have to face New Orleans again, this time on the road, Tampa Bay is going to be a tough out, also on the road, and then Carolina on the road as well. So they've actually, they've played a difficult schedule, but they've gotten a lot of home games, this season so far. So I think while we're going to be bullish on them, I think moving forward, we're probably not going to be as bullish as we were to start the season.
The good news is their offense is playing as well as it has maybe since that MVP Matt Ryan season. And we know that offense right now is what is driving the league. So if you want to be bullish on the Falcons, I give you permission. Hopefully the defense can patch together a couple stops here or there. They are down, but certainly not out. We'll be back later this week with more great information for you. In the meantime, head to mybookie.ag to use some of the good information we gave you here and put it to good use. And of course, if you want more of our content, head to profootballfocus.com. Get yourself a PFF Elite subscription where you can get PFF Green Line and see all of our picks for every game, every week.